Hello everyone and welcome to another one of those games that really show us how unforgiving chess is and that you can't relax even for a single second, otherwise you're gonna just lose the game, even though you've had a perfectly fine position for an hour, for 2 hours, for 5 hours. If you make that one little mistake, then your entire position collapses. It is round 4. We're still going to show a game from round 5, but this is the one I wanted to show from round 4. Wesley versus Nepomniachtchi of the Superbet Chess Classic. Let's check it out. The game follows known theory for some 21 move, so that's there's that, but the good part comes after that. So let's just get to that point. So here Wesley opens with knight to f3. The opening, we have d5, d4, knight to f6, and now c4. We have e6, so we've transposed into the queen's gambit decline, and g3. And now shifting into the Catalan, we have bishop to e7, bishop to g2, both players castle, and now d captures on c4. So this is the mainest of the main. Queen to c2, we have b5 now defending the c4 pawn, and of course we undermine black's overextended pawn structure here. Bishop to b7, a captures on b5, and a6. So again, nothing new here. This has been played many times. B captures, knight captures, and now finally queen captures on c4. White wins back the pawn, or rather white is up a pawn. So here bishop to d5 attacking the queen, queen to c3, and now pawn to c5, getting rid of the backward c pawn, and then black will have a lot of development in. So for the price of one pawn, black is more developed for the moment. So bishop to e3, we have knight to e4 attacking the queen here, and now queen back to e1. We have knight to b4, and rook captures on a8. We have queen captures on a8 and knight to c3. Knight captures, b captures, attacking the knight here. Knight to c2 attacking the queen and the bishop. Queen d2, knight captures, and queen captures. C captures on d4, c captures on d4, and the rook to d8. So quite a capture fest we've had here. And it's now move 20, still known theory, queen to f4 by Wesley. And now there is a game that was played like a month or 2 months ago in Slovenia in the European Individual Championship between Martirosyan and Gavrilescu, where queen to a4 was played. Martirosyan was able to win that game, but here we have h6 by Nepo, and it is now as of move 21 that we have a completely new game, and Nepo's h6 is quite an improvement to Gavrilescu's queen to a4. It is one of the engine's top choices. So this is where our game truly begins, and now it's Wesley to play. He starts with e3. Once the bishop moves, you want more protection for that d4 pawn, and you have a light square bishop. Makes sense, you want to put your pawns on dark squares. Here, bishop to d6, getting the bishop to a more active square, attacking the queen. Queen h4, now you have to be careful. If you move the queen, you're going to lose the rook. Bishop to b4, and now queen to g4. And now you could wait. White will probably at some point play knight to h4 because you have to trade the light square bishops. The knight can't really move anywhere. You're just going to lose the bishop here. So Nepo doesn't even wait for this. He just trades bishop for knight. He says, I'd rather have your knight than your bishop because your bishop will not be all that useful. My only weakness here in the camp is the f7 pawn. And the knight can attack this. The bishop cannot attack this. So here bishop captures on f3, bishop captures, and queen to a5 now. We have rook to b1 by Wesley. Now comes the bishop back to d6, and here h4. Grabbing more space here on the king's side. Rook to b8, offering a rook trade. And here Wesley says, thank you very much. This allows me to at least play something. He plays rook captures on b8, bishop captures, and now this very tricky d5 move. Point being that if e captures on d5, queen c8 check picks up the bishop on c8, on b8. So instead, after d5, we have queen to a1 with check, king to g2, and queen to e5 now. And now, okay, you could play the d captures on e6, but here Nepo will just capture, and if you trade queens, this is a draw. Yes, Wesley's up a pawn, but it's bishops of opposite colors. Bishops of opposite color, not much to look for here. So after queen e5, we have queen to c4, and now bishop to d6. Again, you have to prevent queen c8 followed by this trick. Okay, for the moment, queen guards the b8 square, but better safe than sorry. So d captures on e6, queen captures, and now bishop to d5. So remember a couple of moves ago, we said that we have a bishops of opposite color game here with queens on the board, and you can see that the f2 pawn can be attacked by the dark square bishop, but it's very unlikely. You have to put your bishop on e1 to attack this pawn. We don't see that happening, and it was very unlikely for Wesley to get grab hold of the f7 pawn. But as you can see, allowing that d5 move also allowed now this queen bishop battery to put pressure on the f7 pawn at least. So queen d7, Nepo now has to keep an eye on the f7 pawn, h5, and now queen to f5. We have queen to c6 attacking the bishop, and bishop to f8. So how can Wesley push for more than a draw here? Well, we have bishop to f3, queen to e6. Again, Nepo offers a queen trade. Queen to a8, you have to decline. Once you trade queens, it's a draw. Queen to e5, and now bishop to g4. We have queen to f6, bishop back to d1, queen to f5, putting pressure on the h5 pawn, but it doesn't matter. The bishop from d1 nicely defends this. Queen to b7, and now queen to e5. We have bishop to e2. Now comes queen back to f5, bishop to f3, queen to e5. Nepo just moves the queen back and forth, says, all right, this is a draw. Bishop to g4 and queen back to g5. Now attacking the bishop, queen to f3. And here you could repeat with queen to f6, nothing happens, but Nepo, I guess he got bored, plays g6. It does change the structure a little bit, but it doesn't matter. You're still going to put the bishop on g7, and the light square bishop can't do all that much about this. So h captures, queen captures, bishop to f5, and queen f6. So not a lot for Wesley to do here. Queen to d5 and queen to d6. Again, offering a queen trade, queen to c4, queen to b4. Now Nepo is forcing a queen trade almost, but Wesley, of course, declines. Queen e2, we have queen b7 check, king h2, and bishop to g7 now. We have bishop back to d3 and queen to d5. So even if you somehow get your queen all the way to h7, it's still nothing. So there's really nothing you can do here to push for advantage, but you can of course try. There's always this e4 idea. Maybe you can start pushing those pawns, and Wesley, of course, before agreeing to a draw, will try at least that. So here bishop c4 again, attacking the queen, queen e4. We have bishop back to b3 and queen to f5. Now you have to be careful. The f2 pawn might become weak if the queen moves. So e4 now, advancing the pawn, and this is very important as no captures have been made for quite a while. We have to make a pawn move, otherwise we might get to a draw by a 50 move rule. So queen to f6, we have king to g2. Now the queen can move, so you don't lose the f2 pawn. Queen to b6, attacking the bishop, and the bishop to d5. We have and here comes the move. Here Nepo has to continue very carefully. He needs to play queen to g6, and now the game continues. Okay, Wesley does have pressure. He will open up the position. This pawn will come to e6, for example e5, but after bishop to f8 and d6, it's not that big of a deal. F captures bishop, captures king h7, and you will be okay here. If you try something like queen e5 to trap a black's queen, we're just going to play bishop g7, attack the white queen, and if queen d5 still threatening this, just queen to e8. And you don't have to worry about this. If queen f5 check, we're going to play king to h8, and you do control a lot of squares, but there's no way for you to actually control the dark squares, so this is just a draw. However, after this bishop to d5 move, Nepo played the only move, pretty much, that loses the game. Okay, you could play something like queen captures on f2, but that would be silly. Nepo played a bishop to d4, and now Wesley has a brilliant move that really makes it impossible for Nepo to hold the position. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find this idea for Wesley while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting this brilliancy. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is of course pawn to e5. That's the good stuff. Now the bishop that was so conveniently defending all of the dark squares from g7 no longer has access to g7. And that's That's a big problem. How can you play this? Well, you could try something like king to f8, and this is in fact the strongest move, but it's still not going to be easy. We're going to play queen to e4 now. What can you play? If you play something like bishop captures on f2, we're going to play queen to f5, and now we're attacking the bishop and the f7 square, so we're threatening checkmate, and we're also threatening to pick up the bishop. So that's out of the question. And another thing you can do is move something like queen to c5, but now we execute e6, and after captures and captures, this will be very, very, very difficult to hold because, well, it's just that the black king is wide open, and we still have the f pawn. We can push this. It's in a practical game, you are not defending this with absolute perfect play. Maybe it's a draw, but very unlikely that you could hold this. However, Nepo played queen to g6, and now it is completely winning for Wesley. Here, Nepo missed one very, very tricky idea. So pause the video once again and try to find this instant win while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting this brilliancy. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is of course bishop captures on f7. That's the good stuff. This is what Wesley played, and it was in this position on move 58 that Nepomniachtchi resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So very interesting how 30 moves ago we said that no way white is reaching the f7 pawn, and no way black is reaching the f2 pawn. And here you can see that black is attacking the f2 pawn, and Wesley is attacking the f7 pawn. But okay, it's because Wesley wanted it to be so. If he didn't start advancing the pawn here, then of course that would not happen. But here you resign because what can you play? After bishop captures on f7. If you capture with the queen, and you must capture a bishop, otherwise you're just going to lose the queen. So if you play queen captures on f7, then queen g4 check picks up the bishop, and it doesn't matter what you play because now you are up 2 pawns, and of course 2 pawns up is completely winning in an endgame with or without the queens on the board. And if you don't capture with the queen, if you capture with the king, then we have this queen to c4 check, again picking up the bishop, and again pretty much getting the exact same endgame. Of course, this will be completely winning, and Jan knows this, so after bishop captures on f7, he resigned the game. So really incredible stuff by Wesley, winning this, and I promised I will show you the standings. So now after 5 rounds of this wonderful tournament, these are the standings. As you can see, Wesley leading the tournament with 3.5 points, followed by Levon Aronyan and Maxim Vashelograb and Bogdan Daniel Deac with 3 points. With 2.5 we have Fabiana Caruana and Jan Nepomniachtchi. 2 points Alireza Firuja and Richard Rapport and Linier Dominguez, and with 1.5 points Shahriar Mamedyarov, who is definitely not having the greatest tournament. And unfortunately for him, the next video we are showing is probably his game against Fabi, but that's just the way it is. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and really congratulations to everyone who spotted both of the pause the video moments. I would like to wish a very happy birthday to Rodolfo NRCLB, and I would like to thank Claudio Brovelli and Alessandro Bossi, Yogesh Patki donating because it is the strongest move, Per Solbakken and Tarek Aldalal for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of this wonderful event until it finishes. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.